Good morning class. As you can see, today we are going to discuss some important question and answers of the chapter polynomial. Okay, this is the second chapter of class 10th NCERT book. Okay, so this is going to be very important and very beneficial for all the students who are going to appear the board exam 2024 and 25. So this video or this class is going to be very useful for all the students who are going to appear the board exam 2024 and 25. Okay class, we are going to discuss only the MCQ questions. In our later classes, we will discuss the 1 marks and 2 marks question separately. Okay, so without any delay, let's start today's class. So let's try to solve the first question. So look at the question. Now if the sum of the zeros of a quadratic polynomial this is equal to their product. So in this question it is given that sum is equal to the product. Okay, so let's try to understand this question. The question is given that kx square plus 2x plus 3k. Now in this question, if I want to ask you what is the value of a, now a is the coefficient of x square, that is a is equal to k. Similarly, b is equal to the coefficient of x, that is plus 2, and c is the constant term, which is your 3k. Okay, now in this question, if I want to find the sum of zeros, the sum of zeros is your minus b by a. Now the value of b is your 2 and the value of a is your k. So alpha plus beta is equal to minus 2 by k. Similarly, if I want to find the value of alpha beta, then this is equal to c by a. Now the value of c is 3k and the value of a is your k. Now this k and this k will get cancelled and the value of alpha into beta will be equal to 3. Now according to question, alpha plus beta is equal to alpha into beta. So in place of alpha plus beta, let's put this value, and this is your minus 2 by k, and in place of alpha into beta, let's put this value, and this is your k, and this is your 3. Now if we simplify this equation, so minus 2 is equal to 3 into k. Now the value of k will be minus 2 and this 3 will be divided by this 2, and the value of k is your minus 2 by 3. The first answer is your minus 2 by 3. As you can see that this question already asked in Odisha in 2020. Okay, so as you know that this is already being asked in the board exam, so it's an important question. Okay, I hope this question is clear. Now if you want, you may take a screenshot. Let's move to the second question. The second question is that if alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial this one. Again, we have a quadratic polynomial. So here a is equal to 1. As there is no coefficient, so the coefficient will be 1. And b will be your 2. This is the coefficient of x. And c will be your 1. Okay. Now, it is being asked what is the value of 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. So, 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. So, when the question comes in the form of alpha and beta, always try to find the value of alpha plus beta and alpha into beta, right? So alpha plus beta is your minus b by a, which will be equal to minus 2 by 1. As b is your 2, so minus b, that is your minus 2, and a is your 1, so this will be your minus 2 by 1. And similarly, alpha into beta is your c by 1. So c is 1 and a is also 1. So that is your 1 by 1 and this will be 1. And this is alpha plus beta will be minus 2. Okay. Now, in this question, it is asked 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. So, to solve this thing, let's try to add these two fractions. So, beta will come to this term and 1 into beta will be beta and alpha will come to this place. So, 1 into alpha will be alpha and this alpha into beta will get multiplied and this will give you alpha into beta. Now, in the numerator, you can see that this is alpha plus beta. So the value of alpha plus beta is your minus 2 and the value of alpha into beta is your 1. So this is your minus 2 by 1, which is ultimately equal to your minus 2. So the answer here is minus 2. Again, this question is already asked in Delhi board exam 2020. So it is also an important question. Now, question number 3. If alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial this one, then the value of alpha plus beta. This is very easy question. Alpha plus beta, as you know that alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a. So we need to find the value of b and a. B is the coefficient of x, which is minus 13, and a is the coefficient of x square, that is 2. So in place of b, there is already a minus sign is there, so we have to put it here, and in place of b I write it minus 13, and in place of a I write 2. Now this minus and this minus will get cancelled and give you 13 and this 2. Again the answer is 13 by 2, which is your option number C. Okay, so this is the answer of the third question. Now let's move to the question number 4. In the question number 4, let's read the question once. If 1 0 of the quadratic polynomial is this, then find the value of k. We have already discussed that 0 of a polynomial. So let's try to understand what is the value or what is the meaning of 0 of a polynomial. So 0 of a polynomial means the value of the variable for which this polynomial becomes 0. That means we have to write a value in the place of this variable so that this entire polynomial becomes 0. Now this 0 is already given 2 here. That means if we put 2 in the place of x, then this polynomial becomes 0. Now k into, in place of x, let's write 2 and 2 square, plus 3 into, in place of x, again put 2 plus k, and this will give you 0. Now this k into 2 square will be 4, plus 2 into 3 will give 6, and plus k, and that will be your 0. Right? Now if you will see that this will be your 4k and this is k, and they will give you 5k plus 6 is equal to 0. Now 5k will be is equal to minus 6, and k will be equal to minus 6 upon 5. So the answer is minus 6 upon 5. Okay? Okay. Now question number 5. The maximum number of zeros of a cubic polynomial. It is very simple. The number of zeros of a polynomial is always equals to the degree of the polynomial. Hence, here it is said that cubic polynomial, that means the degree is 3. So if the degree is 3, then the number of zeros will be also 3. The answer is 3. Okay. Now, let's move to the question number 6. If 1 0 of the quadratic polynomial is 2, then find the value of k. This question is very much similar to the question number 4. So the 1 0 is given to you, that is 2, and it is asking us what is the value of k. Again, do the same thing like this and you will get your answer. So in place of x, let's put 2, that will give you 2 square and 4. Again, in place of x, if you put 2, 3 into 2 will give you 6, and plus k, and that will give you 0. Now 4 plus 6 will give you 10 plus k, and that is 0. And k is equal to your minus 10. The value is minus 10. Okay. So I hope these questions are clear to you. Now let's move to the question number 7. What is the quadratic polynomial whose sum is minus 5 and the product of zeros is 6? So if the sum and product is given to us, then how can we form a quadratic polynomial? So this is very easy. Let's understand this concept. This is the formula. Okay. When we need to find the quadratic polynomial if alpha plus beta and alpha beta are given to us. So at first we need to write x square so that we will get a quadratic polynomial. Then we have to write minus over there. Then we have to write alpha plus beta. That means sum of zeros, which is already given to us, that is minus 5. So in place of alpha plus beta, you may write minus 5 and this is x, plus in place of alpha into beta, this is the product and the product is 6 here. So write down 6. Now this x square and this minus minus will get cancel, and that will give you plus 5x and plus 6. So the answer is x square plus 5x plus 6, option number 8. Now let's move to the question number 8. Again, if one zero of the polynomial is the reciprocal of the other. So what is the meaning of reciprocal? Reciprocal means the multiplicative inverse, or the numerator will get converted to the denominator and the denominator will get converted into the numerator. If I want to ask you what is the reciprocal of x by y, then the reciprocal of x by y is your y by x. Okay, so this is the reciprocal. Reciprocal means numerator will go to the denominator and the denominator becomes the numerator. Now, if you multiply a number with its reciprocal, then what will happen, sir? Now, this 2 will get cancelled and this 2 will get cancelled. The remaining answer is 1. So, in case of two numbers which are reciprocal of each other, if you multiply these two numbers, the answer will be 1. So, we have to solve this question by applying this concept. So, the question is 3x square plus 8x plus k. Okay. Now, we have two zeros. We don't know the zeros, but we know that if one zero is alpha, another zero is 1 by alpha, because they are reciprocal of each other. Now, this will give us c by a. So, here c is your k and a is your 3. Okay. Now, this alpha and 1 by alpha will get cancelled and this will give you 1 and this is equal to k by 3. Now, from this thing, if you multiply 3 over both sides, that will give you 3 into 1, 3 and this will give us k. The value of k is your 3. Okay. So, I hope this thing is clear. Now, let's move to the question number 9. The zeros of the polynomial this are dash. Okay. So, here we have a complex polynomial and we need to find the zeros. Okay. So, in class 9 we have already discussed the method factorization, by using which we can find the zeros of a quadratic polynomial. So, in the method of factorization, what we need to do? We need to split this middle term, so that if we add two terms, we will get the middle one, and if we multiply these two terms, we will get the c into a. That means 1 into this much. Okay. Now, multiplying with 1 is the same number as it is before. So, here as you can see that there are two numbers, what is m and another is m plus 3. To multiply these two numbers, one is your m and another is m plus 3. If we multiply these two numbers, we will get this term. But there is a sign of minus or there is a sign of negative. So, that means either this thing is a negative or this thing is a negative. Okay. So, we have two numbers and the product is a negative one. That means either the first number is a negative quantity or the second number is a negative quantity. Then how can we sure which one is the correct one? Now, let's take this one. Now, after adding the two terms, we should get minus 3. Let's look at this. If we add these two terms, then what will happen? This minus 5, this minus m and this plus m will get cancelled and this will give you 3. But in this case, if we add these two numbers, this is m, this is your minus m and this is your minus 3. Now, m and minus m will get cancelled and this will give you minus 3. That means the two numbers are, one is your m and second one is your minus m plus 3. Okay. So, let's try to check this one again. So, x square is there and in place of minus 3, what I can write? M into x and minus m plus 3 into x. And this will be give you, and the rest is minus m into m plus 3. Now, if you take common from these two things, so this will give you x into x plus m, and from these two things, if I take minus m plus 3 as common, so we will have x over here, and this m plus 3 already taken out, and this minus is already taken out, so we have left with plus m. Okay. Now, these two terms have x plus m common. So, taking x plus m as common, so we will have x from this term and minus m plus 3 from this term. Okay. Now, product of these two things should be 0 because we are finding the zeros of the polynomial. So, while you are trying to find the zeros of a polynomial, we have to equate this polynomial with 0. Now, product of two terms is 0. That means either the first term is 0 or the second term is 0 or both the terms may be 0. ठीक है, so either this term will be 0 or this term will be 0 or both the terms will be 0. So let's try to find out. If this term is 0, that means x is equal to this m will give you minus m, and from this thing this x will give you minus m plus 3. While moving to the right side, this will give you m plus 3. So the two zeros are, one is your minus m and second one is your m plus 3. So let's look. This option B is minus m and m plus 3. So this is the right answer for this question. Now let's move to the question number 10. The value of x for which the polynomial x square minus 1 and x square minus 2x plus 1 vanish simultaneously. That means in this question it is asking us what is the value of x for which both the polynomial will satisfy. Okay, so we have to find the value of x for which this polynomial and this polynomial both will vanish. Vanish means the value of both the polynomial will be 0. Okay, so let's try to find out what are the zeros of this polynomial. So x square minus 1 should be equal to 0. That means this will give you x plus 1 and x minus 1, as this is the formula of a square minus b square. As you can write 1 as 1 square, so the formula of a square minus b square, that will a plus b into a minus b. So using this formula we can write this x square minus 1 square will give you x plus 1 and x minus 1. Now again the same concept, multiplication of two terms will give you 0. That means either the first term is 0 or the second term is 0. So from this I can get it x is equal to minus 1, and from this I will get x is equal to plus 1. So the two zeros of this polynomial is minus 1 and plus 1. So for these two values the polynomial vanishes. And for the second thing, x square minus 2x plus 1. X square minus 2x plus 1. If you see that this is the formula of x minus 1 whole square. Okay? So this is first a square minus 2 into a into b plus b square. So this is the formula of x minus 1 whole square. And to get the 0 or to get this equation of this polynomial vanish, so we need to put it is equal to 0. Now x minus 1 square means again this is multiplied with x minus 1, and that is 0. So now either this may be 0 or this may be 0. So if this is 0, so we will get x is equal to 1. Again from this thing we will get x is equal to 1. So if we compare both the polynomial, we can see that for x is equal to 1, this polynomial vanishes, and for x is equal to 1, this polynomial also vanishes. So the right answer for this polynomial will be x is equal to 1. Okay, so I hope this question is clear. Now look at the question number 11. Alpha and beta are the zeros of the polynomial. Then this is the polynomial. Find the value of 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta minus alpha beta. These kind of questions are very clear or very similar to the questions which we have discussed earlier. So here at first what we need to do is first find the value of alpha plus beta and alpha into beta. So I hope this is clear to you. Now the value or the formula for alpha plus beta is minus b by a. So here a is your 1, b is your minus 1, as it is minus there. So it is your minus 1, and the value of c is your minus 4. So if you put here the value of alpha plus beta will be minus of b. So b is your minus 1. So this will be your minus of minus 1, and divided by a is your 1. And alpha beta will be minus 4, that is c, by 1. Now if you simplify this thing, minus minus will cancel, and 1 by 1 will give you 1. So the value of alpha plus beta is 1, and the value of alpha into beta will be your minus 4. Now again this thing is 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta, that will give you beta plus alpha divided by alpha beta, and again there is a minus of alpha beta. Okay, now putting the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta in this equation, you will get alpha plus beta will be 1 divided by alpha beta is minus 4, and this minus of alpha beta is minus 4. Now this is your minus 1 by 4 and this is your plus 4. Now simplifying this thing, you will get it minus 1, 4 into 4 will give you 16 divided by 4. Now 16 minus 1 is your 15 divided by 4. The answer is 15 by 4. Okay, so with this I would like to conclude today's class. So thank you class for being attentive.